everybody, welcome back once again to the RetroGameFix.com Retro Jones podcast, number 124 at long last. I'm your host, Mitch.
And this is Mike.
And here we are once again. It's funny because I was just wondering, when was the last time we did this? And we did this in August 13th of 2018.
Hey, it's the highly anticipated episode number 124, Mitch. We had to keep them waiting.
I know, because the other one was 123. So,
they go
that's the end.
They go in an order. Well, I think on the last one, I think we maybe made jokes on the last one about that maybe being the last episode ever. On one of those episodes, I know we did, so I don't know.
I don't remember that.
Well, you do a lot of drugs.
Do I?
No.
I wish I did a lot of drugs. Apparently we talked about Zelda, Nintendo card, which I'm not even sure what that is, emulation, and Pinball League.
Oh, great. Good stuff. I bet it was entertaining.
I have no idea. Anyway, so it's been a long time, and some stuff has happened, this and that, and so on, and we're kind of at a little bit of a better place right now, where it's a little easier to podcast. I think one of the big deals
should be, yeah,
maybe, yeah, it should be. One of the things that I think that killed our consistency, because we had consistency for a long time. And I think was probably having kids.
Kids was a part of it, and then the other thing was I had to get up at 4 a.m. for work, so that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
So there was
those days are long gone.
It kind of combined to, like, I don't stay up past 8 very often any longer. So
you're getting old fast, my friend.
Yeah.
In fact, you want something that make you feel old. I think we've been doing this podcast for around like 6 years now.
Yeah, we have. I think
we started in 2013.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was right. I don't know. It was probably 31, because we'd started talking about it.
We started in 31?
No, yeah, I would have been 30 or 31. Because when I came down to Atlanta.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the year. I was like, in the future?
No, I came down to Atlanta for my 30th birthday. And then we started doing it shortly after I got back, I think. Because that's when, there was some Craigslist shit we were shopping for Nintendo games. And then I got back. So probably would have been 31, and I'm 36. Yeah. So 5 years at the low end. So
I think it was 2013 So anyway, long story long. Well, I know there's been a lot of things that have been going on with both of us since the last time we talked. I know you've been doing some cereal at nights as well. So good.
I have.
Good job keeping that the fire lit.
There's a lot of things that piss me off. So.
Oh yeah, I mean your mic.
You know what's funny? I don't know if you've listened to a lot of them. It's funny because on Twitter, and I've gotten this a lot. Like, I'm generally not all that level-headed sometimes on Twitter, but when I get onto the cereal at nights, I'll at least try to kind of represent both sides without having rampages anymore. So the shows have been a little bit different, but it's still usually me seeing something and being like, God, that pisses me off. I got to go talk about that.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well, you might want to just get some power bottom for that. I'm just kidding. Total inside joke.
No, I was going to tweet that. So let me set that up. So I've been trying to get healthy over the last week or two here. I've had some things come up, and so at least to get my body back on track, I've cut out some alcohol, and I've started eating better. And I went to the doctor because I had some bloating and some other shit, and she had said, you need to get more fiber. And so, where my diet was just getting more fiber was difficult. So I started shopping for some fiber powder I could put in a smoothie or stuff like that. And what was the fiber supplement called Lean Bottom or something? What was it called?
No, it's called Power Bottom.
Power Bottom. So anyway, there's a fiber supplement marketed for gay people. and it's kind of condescending and awkward in a way. But anyway, if you want to read some hilarious reviews on Amazon, go read Power Bottom fiber reviews. It's fucking hilarious.
I didn't think that was real.
No. It's totally real. And apparently the fiber is great, but it sounds like they're maybe cutting their audience short by, using this kind of lowbrow marketing campaign, and which is kind of funny. But anyway, go check it out.
It was totally over my head.
Yeah, go check
it out. It was funny though.
It was funny. Go check it out.
Anyway, so yeah, well, that's the funny thing is I have to turn off we have our chat thing on a Skype right now, and I did the stupid thing. I saw Skype made me update my thing because I haven't updated it since since we started this podcast, probably, or since Windows 10 came out. So anyway, they have this thumbs up thing, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool to hit that a couple times. And now that this thumb is moving up and down, and it's driving me absolutely crazy. I'm so I can't look at the chat. So tell me what we have on the chat. What do we have on the docket for today?
Oh, I think we'll probably jump into some of your pinball escapades.
Oh my God. I have so many of them.
Because you do. You always do, but you have a lot this time. And then I want to jump into some VR conversation because we do love some VR here on Retro Jones. And a lot of it, I've done some VR gaming, but I do want to bring up the state of VR hardware because I've got a little bit of an axe to grind. And then... Yeah, right. And then I just kind of want to talk about the state of where maybe VR is headed. And I think it'll be interesting for you because I've kind of had the headsets and you haven't since the sickness. Or you got rid of your headset, right?
I did. I got rid of that a month after I bought it.
Yeah. I didn't know if you got another one. So yeah, we'll touch on some VR, and then there's maybe some Switch stuff to talk about. And then we'll see where the road takes us.
All right. Well, where should we start? Do you want to hear about some Switch stuff, some pinball escapades, or do you want to talk about some VR?
Maybe let's jump right into the pinball. I think I'm curious on that stuff too, because I've been getting pictures of the Twilight Zone, and I'm sure you have other stories, and I think that's
it seems like every other week I end up, and it's not just pinball. I mean, as far as arcade collecting. I mean, I think every other week I've been sending you something. So far, I've averaged at least one big thing a month this year. So, actually going back to December. So, there's so many things. I mean, I don't even know where to start. So one thing is I put out, I really like my Star Trek Next Generation pinball. I thought that was great. I think it's Steve Ritchie's best. It's one of the best I've ever played, but sometimes, you got to freshen things up. And I was like, well, that's a valuable asset as far as, getting another pinball. So I was like, I might dangle that out a little bit. So I put out feelers in the local community, which is called GAPIS, Georgia. It's Georgia Appreciation Pinball. Oh my God. I don't even know what it stands for. Georgia something Pinball Appreciation Society. That's it. Anyway, I put out some feelers to see what people had out there, and I had a couple that I thought were cool. I'm looking for projects because I think I've found out now that I've reached. I'll get to that later. But anyways, so long story short, I found a guy in town that had a Bally Playboy, which Bally Playboy is the only good Playboy pinball. And it's the classic. It's the 1978. So it's a really cool looking pin. I always thought it was just super cool. So I had a guy that had one that was a project and not too far away from me, maybe about an hour away from me. And he was like, well, I got this project. I've got a brand new CPR playfield, like a repro playfield, which are completely unobtainable. They did a run in 2012. I think it took forever, and they also didn't make enough. So anyway, I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. And he's like, I got a brand new set of plastics for it. I've got a brand new Alltech board, which is a replacement for the the MPU board, the original one, because usually they have acid damage on them. So he's like, I've got that. I've got a complete project. You know, I've already kind of stripped it down, tumbled all the metal parts, cleaned up the playfield, the original playfield. I just never got around to it. So I was like, okay, cool. What do you want for it? And he's like, I want $1,000. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, look, and the pinball in average shape is probably about like, you know, $1,250, $1,500 pin. But it came with all this extra stuff. So like the extra playfield and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm in. So I went down, checked it out. The playfield, the old one was actually in great condition. The whole thing was in great condition for being an original. And he did a really nice job of cleaning it up. I got the repro playfield. I looked at that. I'm like, it was seriously the most beautiful repro playfield. It was the best repro playfield I've ever seen in my freaking life. So I bought the project and I was like, I just want you to know I'm probably going to go ahead and just restore the playfield myself and sell the repo playfield. He's like, I don't give a fuck what you do. So I don't know if this is totally stupid or like totally a boss ass move where I sold the playfield I netted like
the repro, right?
The repro one.
Yeah.
I netted like $800 off of, you know, cause I eBayed it. And I sold it within like 12 hours, and I really wish I would have put it up for more. But
was it
after
the playfield? Was it someone local, or did you actually ship that thing?
I shipped it after shipping and all that stuff, which was, of course, the person that bought it had to have been in California. So after all was said and done, I netted $800 after shipping. I mean, they paid for shipping and all that stuff. So I netted $800. So what I ended up with is the Valley Playboy project, which is great. I could put it together today and it would be working, you know, but I'm going to restore it. So I have $200 in that. I have that. I have the Repro Plastics, the brand new Alltech board that's never been touched. $200. So, you know, it's one of those deals where I can't resist, you know. If I can get something for next to nothing, that's something I want, like I'm in, you know. So I don't even know. Not long after that, I'm glad I sold that playfield because I wouldn't have been able to eke out this other one. So, like, one of the holy grails in my mind of pinball is Twilight Zone. And Twilight Zone is, you know, consistently known as the #1 pinball of all time on a lot of different places. Internet Pinball Machine Database, whatever, however much stock you put in the top 100, top 300.
But it is ultra desirable, right? I mean, regardless of where you're going to rank it, you know, it's still a super desirable pin.
Super desirable, yeah. So anyway, you know, an average, according to Pinsight, and I say according to Pinsight, some people might roll their eyes. Whatever. It's some kind of...
It's a baseline. It's something to look at least.
Some kind of baseline.
It's a reference, right?
Right. According to them, an average Twilight Zone nowadays, this is insane because I remember when they were a lot less than this. An average Twilight Zone is $6,500. I'm saying like average condition. You know, that's about what they sell for the most part, according to Pinside. So this one was a project, of course. It needed, you know, it had some inserts that were tore up. It was just in kind of cruddy shape and stuff like that. So this guy, basically I found it on Pinside. This guy was like, oh yeah, I want some pricing advice on a Twilight Zone project. And I was like, oh my God, I got to see this. So I checked it out. I asked the guy some questions and stuff. And long story short on that one, he was like, oh yeah, well, I got somebody offering like 39 right now. And I'm like, and he's like, he was selling it, helping some other guy sell it. And he was like, the other guy doesn't like Pinsiders. He doesn't like Pinside because he thinks there's a bunch of douchebags on there. And I get that. There definitely are a lot of douchebags on any forum. So I was like, he was like, he probably doesn't want to send you more pictures, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'll tell you what, I've got about $3,500 I can spare right now. I was like, I can guarantee him that he doesn't even need to touch it. I was like, I won't haggle him for the price. Nothing. I will just come give him cash. He doesn't even have to talk to me if he doesn't want to. I'll put it in the back of my vehicle and be on my merry way. And he was like, yeah, you know what? I think that's going to work for him. So long story short, because, you know, people will go in there and be like, oh, I don't know. It's going to need work on this. Of course it's going to work. It's a fucking $3,500 Twilight Zone.
That's always the worst, especially when you have something and you go, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to let this go at a fair enough price where somebody should just say, I'll take it. Right. And anytime there's some douchebag that comes up that tries to haggle it, it's basically like, no, fuck you. I don't even want to talk to you now. right? And
Yeah,
so like you come in and you go, this is a deal, I want it, and I want to make sure this guy knows that I'm not going to be a problem.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I just played that card where I was like, I want it, but I kind of got what I got. You know, I've got what I can spare here.
Yep.
So that worked out. I couldn't believe it. And you know, I've got my friend Steven, he's like my pinball buddy. We always go on these trips and pick stuff up. We're also like, I don't know. I hate to use the word because I think it's super stupid, but frenemy. Like when it comes to pinballs, I can't. That's probably the best description. I mean, it's all in good fun, but we also like every time one of us gets something, we got to like always outdo the other.
Yeah.
So, anyways, his you know absolute dream pin is a Twilight Zone. So, of course. So I was like, look at this thread, man. Go get that, you know? And he's like, oh, I can't. And, you know, in my head, I'm kind of like, I know you can't get it because he was in the middle of buying something, Total Nuclear Annihilation. And I was in my head, I'm like, you can't have all the good stuff. So anyways, he's like, I can't do it, man. And I was like, well, are you going to be mad if I go and grab it? And he's like, no, go ahead. So I was like, okay. Anyway, so now, you know, he's got a couple pins that he can hold over my head. Now I got 3 of them that I can hold over his head. So that $3,500 Twilight Zone, I ended up selling my Star Trek Next Generation for $45. So I got about 1,000 to put into it. And I you know, my goal is to put about 1,500 tops into it. And I think I can do that. And it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Like I sent you pictures of the playfield and shit.
Yeah, and I've put them on Twitter every time, and it looks incredible.
I've reached a new level of anal that, like, I don't even know if I'm comfortable with. You know, like, I'm not like patting myself on the back. I'm just stating a fact here, where I'm like, I've been working on this thing for 3 months, and there's nothing I regret on it. You know how you do something and you're like, oh, I kind of cut a corner on that little thing because it's taken too fucking long. You know?
Yeah.
I'm unable to do that now. Like, I absolutely can't do that because if I do that, then I'm always going to see that little thing that I fucking, you know, just was lazy on. And I'm always going to be pissed about it. So I'm like,
just better to do it right. Get it done.
Well, I mean, getting it done. I mean, this thing's going to take me at least 5, maybe 6 months by the time I'm done with it. But it's going to be the nicest one I've ever even heard of, I think. So I'm excited, man. This is my project right now. I mean, I'll kind of run through some of the other stuff. Oh, one of the other ones that I got. Remember, was it March? My friend was like, in December, I had gotten a pole position again. I guess we hadn't talked about that on the podcast because we talked in August. So I got an upright pole position because I used to have a pole position. I loved it. Pole position is an awesome game, isn't it?
Yeah, pole position's phenomenal.
I don't know how a game with one track is that much fun.
No, it's incredible.
So I loved it. I mean, I love the game, but somebody offered me granite countertops, like fully redo my countertops in granite.
Wait, for the pole position?
For the pole position, like a while ago. This is the first one that I had. And the first one that I had, I bought for $50, and the guy delivered it. Wait,
a stand-up one he was going to give you the granite countertops?
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Fuck yeah. That's why I didn't have
a... Okay, I was going to say, I don't remember if you did or not. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's why I didn't have a pole position for the last four or 5 years.
I didn't even know you got... I got to be honest, I didn't even know you got rid of it.
Well, no, this is one that I had. I bought this like 7 years ago or 8 years ago or something.
I knew you had it. I just didn't know that was the whole... I didn't just cross my mind.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, that was always one of my favorite games. It never got old. And I got it for $50 and the guy delivered it to my house. It had like a resetting problem. And this is like one of the very few instances, like one of the only instances where I reseated the ROMs and it worked perfectly. I was like, oh my God, perfect. So anyway, so fast forward to this December, I was kind of like, oh man, I really want a pole position. I found one locally for $450 that was working. I had to recap the monitor, but man, it was a nice machine. So fast forward to March, and one of my buddies is like, oh, I got this pole position cockpit. I can deliver it to your house, and I'm going to give you another upright for $500.
That's awesome. So wait. You got That's where I was getting confused. So you got an upright with the cockpit?
So I already had a working upright in my basement that I got in December.
Yeah.
I actually got it on December 10th. It was my birthday.
Yep.
And so I'm perfectly happy with that. And then a buddy comes by and is like, "Oh yeah, I've got like, really want to get rid of these. I got a cockpit and an upright. You got to take them both. $500. I'll deliver them, which is the key because I saw cockpits around here every once in a while. I'm like, I really want that, but I don't want to drive to North Carolina. You know?
Yeah.
My buddy's like, I will drop it off at your house, and I was like, I have to take that deal. So I got the cockpit, and now I'm selling the upright. But the cockpit came with pole position too, but it just needed work. The boards. But that's a whole nother story that I'll deal with some other day. It actually is, I don't know. But anyway, so as soon as I get my board set for pole position 2, which has 4 tracks on it, which I will put in my cockpit, I'm using the pole position 1 board set in my cockpit currently. So once I get the other board set, I'll put that in my other upright and sell it. The other upright, I just sold it like immediately. So
that's right. Yeah, but still. $500 delivered for the 2, plus you got the pole position 2 board. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think when all is said and done, when I have this pole position 2 board finally fixed, I think I'll have $50. It will have been a $50 upgrade to get that cockpit with pole position 2 after selling all the other shit.
Yeah, that's incredible.
No, I mean it's like a winning streak. It's all of I would say like, you know, realistically, my pin and arcade collection right now is probably worth about $45,000. That's how all of my shit came to me. I didn't spend any money. I mean, I spent a lot of time on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't cost me anything.
Well, and it's funny too, because I still keep a pulse on kind of, you know, what's going on in at least the, you know, Minneapolis metro area, just to see if there's ever anything out there. And the only thing I can ever find anymore is just like one dude building 60-in-1s or MAMEs, and he's just mostly they're 60-in-1s, and he's just putting like, yeah, they're really nice, they look really nice, and he's just doing like, you know, local sports team paint jobs on them, right? So like the Wolves or Green Bay, obviously Vikings, just to kind of get that Wisconsin vibe there. But yeah, it's always like the Minnesota teams and then the Packers, and he must be selling them because they're all over the place. But other than that, I don't see anything around here, and it's just, I guess you have to be in that scene, right? Because I think like a lot of the stuff you find you're not like finding it on Craigslist. It's always, you know, word of mouth and somebody calling you, you know?
Oh yeah, Craigslist, everything is dried up. Like there's nothing out there anymore because I think everybody multicaded all the classics. So to find a classic nowadays, I mean, God, you used to be able to find a Pac-Man or a Miss Pac-Man for like $50, like complete, probably working. Sometime before that, you could find them for 10 at auctions. Like they'd be like the firewood row where they'd be like, you know, $10, $10, you know.
Well, it's funny
now it's like $600 or $700 to find a Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that you mention that now because you think about everybody doing the multicades on them, and I wonder now in hindsight, looking back, I wonder how many of those were gutted and turned into a multicade, or how many of them were just, hey, I found an empty cab. Because I sold the Donkey Kong Jr., and then that one I sold with the board. And then I had the Galaxian, I had the wide body Mario Brothers. And then I had a DK3 cab, and I still have the DK3 cab. And that one I never had the boards in, right? And so I'm sitting on this thing, and I'm going like, well, I'm not just not gonna throw I don't have the monitor. It's not in super great condition. I'm not gonna go track down the DK3 boards and put it in there. So I might fucking multicade it because I don't want to take up a bunch of space. But like in hindsight, I'm going like, man, I hope that people weren't taking good machines and multicading them, and now we have just like GameStop.
Oh, but they were. That's exactly what happened.
It's just so shitty because it's like we kind of GameStopped our own like community in a way, right? Like it's just there's nothing left out there for people that want the original arcades, which kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a catch-22. Like I was never the kind of person to tell somebody what to do and what not to do with their money or their build. But like if you're ripping boards out, and then I don't know. I just hope that the working boards are in a machine somewhere.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they all got massacred, which is crazy because I remember talking to some friends back then, like 10 years ago or something. We're like, they'll never run out of Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Mans. They made so many of those, blah blah. Oh my God, they're gone. Like it's weird, and it's kind of sad. Thankfully now, and I wish they would have figured this out 10 fucking years ago, but people are just making like melamine cabinets or something, or having there's like a place around here that like cuts them for them or something, and I think does the artwork for them. So they're not like, well, partially because there's nothing left, to gut and quote unquote convert or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, man. They're all gone. But on the other side of that, arcades are worth so much now. It's crazy. It's weird. I didn't even realize this until recently. I had that candy cab that I bought years ago. My buddy found like a whole place full of them or something. He was like, "Yeah, I talked the guy down to $20. Come get one." I don't even remember if I gave him $20 for it. I just grabbed one, and I put it up on Craigslist for $700 because I was like, "Well, somebody will talk me down to $5. I'll be happy with that." And it had a Neo Geo 161 and 1 in it. But anyway, some guy, I had so many responses because nothing ever pops up. And this one guy in particular, who's actually, become a friend, was like, "I will give you full asking price for it. You just call me back." And I was like, you are the winner." He's like the third person to email me, but I'm like, this guy doesn't fuck around. I like that, So I ended up with $700 for this thing. I don't even know if I paid $20 for it, So that was cool. But anyway, I'm totally off. So that's what I bought that pole position for, the original, the one in December. I used some of that money to buy that pole position.
Gotcha. So this brought up something I wanted to talk about again. So those arcade 1-up machines that Walmart had?
Oh yeah,
those,
yep.
And that for all intents and purposes they're shit.
Oh yeah.
But so remember, I think it was this last, maybe, I don't know, whenever, but I was kind of posting about them on Twitter, and we got kind of the elitist comments, and I went off about it. Like, yeah, I guess if you want to call me that, fucking go ahead. But it came up again on Twitter because one of the large YouTubers got all of them given to him for free or whatever, and he was like, "Look at my arcade," and it started another conversation online of like, these are shit machines, right? I think they retail at $249, but some Walmarts had them marked down for $149, I think, during Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm kind of almost of two minds here. Like those machines are horse shit. I mean, they're trash. I mean, like literally they're not quality machines, right? Like if you play them with any regularity, they're going to break.
Yep.
But with the cost of arcades, if you wanted a machine, it's probably not a bad deal, right? Like, I just want one machine. It's going to look cute in the corner. No one's going to really play it, but it's small and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is one machine, unless you're just like a Street Fighter guy or you just want Pac-Man, like a lot of people buy multiple machines. And that's where I go back and go, let's just use the $249 retail. You buy 4 of these, you get 4 games, and you just spent $1,000. Like, then you might as well just go get a fucking MAME, right? Like, because these aren't. It's not like these are even replicas. Like, they're small little crappy machines, right? Like, that was the argument I was kind of getting into with people online even this last week, was just saying, I get what you're saying on a machine by machine basis, right? $249. You kind of get what you pay for, but if you're okay spending your money on it, whatever, I'm not going to argue with that. But everybody was like, well, I've got 3 of them. I've got 4 of them. And I'm sitting there going like, if it's me and I had $1,000 to spend on a arcade at home, I'm probably going to go buy somebody's MAME cabinet before I'd go buy 4 of these things. Wouldn't you?
I guess I'm an original, like, I guess I'm a bigger snob. I would just go find the original. But the thing is, I'm connected. I'm like very well connected in the community, and That's how I end up with all the shit that I end up with. Because people are always saying to me, "How the fuck did you find that?" Or
Yeah.
"How did you do that?" I just always have my ear open, and I know everybody around that deals in that stuff, and
Yeah.
but I guess I'm an elitist where
I
I'm
get
like
it.
I like original hardware, I like
No,
original everything.
and that's not where I
But
was going. I think I was just saying like if you're
yeah,
if you're okay with just stamping, I mean, it's not like again, if you're the
I
kind of
hear you.
person
You
that's
probably
just
end up with something that's a little less trashy.
yeah, I mean,
Is
if
that
you're okay, well, I'm just like if you're okay with just like if you're willing to pay for something that's just stamping a logo on
Mhm.
and you're just basically paying for that logo and emulation anyway. Like if you're okay with
Right.
emulation and you're okay
Right.
not having the original cabinet and you're
Yeah.
and you're okay with an LCD screen, like you're
Mhm.
probably the kind of person that would be okay with a MAME cabinet that may actually be in a quality plywood cab. I mean, it's with this weird thing where I was just like, well, why the hell? I still do not understand why you would spend the money on this trash, but whatever.
Well, when I first saw him, I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," and I was like, "I should buy one." And then I was like, "Why the fuck would I buy one?"
Yeah.
More like, I was like, "Well, Street Fighter 2, I kind of got the itch, I guess, in December or something." I was like, "I really want a Street Fighter." All these years, and I've never owned a Street Fighter 2 like dedicated. I had a board set for Championship Edition,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize because I traded.
Didn't you trade that? Didn't you sell that after I sold you the
Yeah,
Switch?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I sold it to pay for the Switch because I had it for all these years, and I was like, "Oh, that's not even worth selling. It's only worth like $40." And I didn't realize that Capcom shit like skyrocketed while I was like really focusing on pinballs and not so much the arcades anymore. So I think I sold my board, my Championship Edition board for $180 or something. I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" Or maybe it was 200. I don't remember. I know I netted exactly what I bought the Switch from you for. So, because that's how I planned it. Because I was like, I'll just trade it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I hear what you're saying. The For me, I was like, well, what about the Tempest one? I was like, I have a Tempest. I have a real Tempest. And I was like, well, what about the Street Fighter 2? Because I had the Street Fighter 2 itch. I'm like, yeah, it's just emulation. And it's very It's very there. To me, there's every reminder. Look, to each his own. I don't give a shit if people buy these or not. Whatever. I don't care. But for me, I'm like, there would be a reminder at every turn that this is just emulation. And why wouldn't I just go play it on my computer or some shit,
Yeah, I feel you.
So I don't know. I mean, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then I'm like, I don't need any of that. So
I'm with you. Well, anyway, so speaking of the Switch, you had mentioned before we started recording that you had picked some things up on the Switch, which is awesome because I haven't picked up anything on the Switch.
Oh, I don't blame you. And they're not like Nintendo exclusives, but
well, of course they're not. There isn't any good Nintendo exclusives to buy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can argue with that, but anyway, so my Switch, my son loves Yoku's Island Express. Well, he actually I'm not even kidding you. He beat that game twice at 100%. And then I was like, okay, we got to find something else for you to play. So, we've been checking out demos because I'm like, well, what are we going to play? He really likes Mario Kart too. And my wife really likes Mario Kart. She plays the battle mode on it. So she discovered that. I hate Mario Kart right now. I just do. I always loved Mario Kart.
Yeah.
But Mario Kart 8, especially for the Switch, everything's unlocked. So I'm like, what am I even doing this for?
I'm with you 100%. It's a little different because I played so much of it on the Wii U and I unlocked everything on the Wii U, and then I bought it again on Switch, and then everything's unlocked. I've got to be honest with you, Mitch. I probably would have re-unlocked everything on the Switch, but then when it comes already unlocked, there's just no carrot, and I'm like, what the fuck? Same thing.
That's exactly what I need. Yeah.
I'm like, why the hell? Like, it's like, and people are like, I know the argument, Mario Kart's so fun. I've played so much fucking Mario Kart in my life that if that carrot isn't there, if that unlock carrot isn't there, I don't have an interest in it.
Literally no point.
Yeah.
Especially, and I understand, look, there's like 12 circuits on there and a lot of them are new, but
it's a ton of content, but I just,
oh yeah. but there are a ton of tracks that I've already played a jillion times before on every single. So I don't like Mario Kart at all on the Switch. I wish I would have bought something else when I bought that instead of wasting my money on that. But then again, my wife and my son really like it, so thank God, that somebody likes it. So anyway, so we've been checking out for my son, we've been checking out some demos. He really likes the Yoshi's Crafted World or whatever. I think that would be like one that would be up his alley.
Maybe.
What do you mean?
Well, if he can beat well, it depends how many times he wants to play it. If he can beat Yoshi's Island, and this is Yoshi's Crafted World or whatever the fuck it's called, is it's the easiest game of all time. And this is I'm sorry to tangent here. It's my biggest problem with some of these Nintendo games is that they continue to make these games easy, and everyone says, well, they're made for kids. And I keep saying, look, I know 3-year-olds that are better at some of these games than I am. They don't need to make them so simple any longer. It's like the game, I think, is 4 hours long, and it's the easiest, boringest playthrough ever. Now, if he likes it, he likes it. I mean, it is what it is. But
it's 3, yeah.
But Yoku isn't a cakewalk, and if he's able to beat that, but I'm sure at 3 years old, he's not going to notice a difference. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, Yoku's not a cakewalk at all, but that pretty much had everything because he's so good at pinball and stuff. It's a pinball platform. It was right up his alley, but and he's amazing at that. I'm really impressed. I didn't know, with the map and all that stuff. He'd be like, "Hey, you want to play?" And he'd be like, "Oh, what do I?" I'm like, I'd read everything for him because he can't read yet. So, but I'm like, "Oh, you need to get there." I'd point on the other side of the map, and I was like, "Can you do that for me?" He'd be like, "Okay," and then I'd like look away for I swear to God, like 30 seconds, and he'd be like, "Here you go." And he could use the map and everything. He knew how to get. I'm not even kidding you. I'm like, I couldn't do that myself,
Yeah.
But so it's cool to be able to watch him game and really enjoy this stuff. But the other one was Toad's Treasure, whatever that we were checking out.
Toad's Treasure Tracker is cool. Yeah, it's a puzzle game.
He likes them both. So anyway, so I don't remember where. Oh yeah. So I bought a couple for myself. I played Cuphead just came out on the Switch, and I played a little bit of that, and I was intrigued. I like the art style and all that stuff. It's an old one, obviously by today's standards, but I went ahead and bought.
Yeah, that. It just came on Switch, but I bought it on Xbox, and it's fucking. I bet you, it's a top 10 game of all time for me. Do you not like?
I thought. No, I love it. That's why I bought it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but man, oh my God, Cuphead is so good.
I agree. No, the art style, the sounds, everything. They just like this distorted sound. Sometimes I'm like, man, they just nailed this. I love it. I think it's cool. It's like a game that I feel like that's probably a game that we would have designed. It's like everything's a boss battle, and every once in a while you have the run and gun just to get coins, but the boss battles are the main thing. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's just a boss rush over and over. God, it's so good.
Yeah, for Switch it's only like $20. I was like, oh, awesome. The other one I bought, which was when I first bought the Switch, the first game that I bought was Wonder Boy in Monsterland. Or I'm sorry, The Dragon's Trap. I don't know why I said Monsterland, but Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap, the remake.
Yep.
That was the first one that I bought. And look, I've played that game so many fucking times. Give me 2 hours and I'll beat the game or less. I've probably beat that game 100 times. It's like when you used to watch, what was that movie that you used to watch all the time? Swingers. Yeah. You've seen Swingers how many times?
I don't even ask. I'm not even exaggerating, probably 1,000.
Yeah. That's Wonder Boy 3 for me. Same thing. I've beat it so many times, and I enjoy it every time. So anyways, of course, Monster Boy, whatever, which is essentially the sequel to Wonder Boy 3.
Yeah, Monster Boy and the Cursed. Or wait, what are you talking about? The latest one that came out?
Yep.
Yeah, you picked that up, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom?
I did.
Yeah, that one's really good.
That one up?
Yeah, I did. I bought it, and I'm glad you reminded me that I have it, because I completely forgot about it, and I played it for about an hour, and then I never went back to it, and I don't remember why. I think it's when I got fired, and then I completely forgot about it.
I see. Well, I picked that up too because, of course, probably one of, if not my favorite game of all time is Wonder Boy 3. So of course I got to pick this up. There's a lot of elements of Wonder Boy 3 in there I thought were really cool. My son really likes it. It's actually something that he now he's talking about like, oh, I'm going to take a sword and I'm going to attack them or something. And I was like, when he's just talking about, I don't know, like his grandparents or something. I don't know. So, but I've put I don't even know how many hours, probably about 5 or 6 hours into it so far, and I've gotten, they have different characters. You've got Wonder Boy, of course, then you're the pig, and then the snake, and then the frog. So I'm the frog at this point, and I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm digging it.
I think it's a fairly long game too, so if you're not, like, I think it's like 15 hours.
I don't know if I'm going to, maybe I'll hang in there for 15 hours, but I don't know if I'm digging it. It's just not, I don't know what I was expecting. What do you expect in something like that,
I don't know, but everybody that I've heard talk about it that are fans of Wonder Boy and Monster Boy and kind of those games have all said they love it. So I don't know. I have to find it from, maybe it's, I have no idea. I thought you were going to say like you think it's fucking phenomenal, but
no, I don't. I don't know. I thought it was at first, so maybe I'm curious if you get back to it.
Yeah.
If you get past that first hour or something, if you really dig it. And I don't want to shape your opinion or anything. It just seems tedious, and I wonder. I don't know. Maybe this is blasphemous, but if somebody goes back and plays Wonder Boy 3 for the first time, is it tedious, or is it great? As great as I think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Monster Boy,
like, because if you go play it again, you still have that nostalgia, right? But if you never played it and then go play it,
I could just burn right through it. I fucking love it.
Yeah. Did it feel tedious to play it the first time? I don't know. That's a good question. I would not be able to answer that either.
Back in the day when we played it for the first time, it was freaking amazing. There was nothing like it,
Yeah.
And but now I'm thinking Monster Boy. I'm like, do I like this? I'm like, and do I don't hate it. Look, I don't hate it, but I'm kind of like, meh. I'm kind of like C+ territory right now, I love the music. I think there's a lot packed into the game. But I don't know. It just seems kind of tedious. I'm just kind of find myself thinking, I wish this was over. Can I get to the next thing or something, So, I mean, I'm probably 60% of the way in, I think. So I will just finish it. I'm going to give it a fair try, obviously, but I can do that. I can commit to that, but I don't know if I'm digging it. I kind of wish I could have bought something else.
Interesting. I didn't expect to hear that.
I know.
Out of your mouth. I thought you were going to just go off on how great it is.
No, I can't do that. I can't do it yet. That's not great right now. I don't know. It's very. I will say that the intro screen and stuff is very, 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 very Japanese. Like I thought they nailed like the '80s nostalgia thing with
that anime,
like
that
whole
opening anime was great.
Anime montage. I was like, this is going to be amazing, and I'm not there yet.
All right, maybe I'll pick it back up. I don't know. I don't know if I
Anyways, let's talk some VR.
Sure. So VR. So I've bought a few VR games over the last few months, and I've been using my Samsung Odyssey, which is where I want to start the conversation. So if you remember back when I bought the Odyssey, there was the Oculus and the Vive. And the reason that I got the Odyssey was because it had inside-out tracking.
Right.
And for me, that was a big deal at the time because I had my racing rig on the other side of my office. So I have my office Yeah, go
I
ahead.
guess also inside out tracking. Why don't you go ahead and define that?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if that's as intuitive as it sounds.
Yeah. So basically, you don't have the towers, right? You don't have to calibrate
Right.
to the towers and those kind of camera. They're not cameras, but the tracking towers. And instead, it has the tracking in the headset, and then the controllers have lights coming off of them, so the headset can always track where the controllers are as long as it can find one of the beams coming off of one of the lasers coming off of the controllers, right?
Mhm.
And so that
Yep.
was really convenient for me because anytime when I had the Oculus, if I wanted to go use my racing seat, which was in the living room, so it was on the direct other side of the wall for my computer, so I had a USB wall plate so I could connect everything from my racing rig right through to my computer. The problem is when I would move the Oculus over there, it would always get all wonky because it couldn't find the cameras, and then I'd have to go back and forth to be like, I don't want to use the cameras, and it was always bullshit.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, I always had issues with that anyway because I didn't have enough space for the tracking towers, and I always had to move them and stuff like that. So it was always a huge pain in the ass to play Oculus. On top of that, you had to have like 3 USB ports, and then you had to have the HDMI, and it was crazy amount of cables.
There's a lot. Yeah.
And again, the Samsung Odyssey, which I want to remind everybody, came out around 20 months ago. And it was one cable that combined HDMI, and then it split into an HDMI and one USB 3.0. It had OLEDs, high-res OLEDs, and inside-out
that's crazy.
And inside-out tracking. 20 months ago. And it was $499. I paid $499. But over the last year, regularly on Slick Deals, you can find it for $299. And so fast forward now to today from when I bought it. Well, actually, let's go back. And so the Samsung Odyssey was one of the Windows mixed reality headsets, right? And so it wasn't the only one. There was Dell and Lenovo and HP, and all of these companies released their own mixed reality headsets.
Right. There's a whole pile of them.
Right. And so with mixed quality. And so when people started reviewing these things, the initial reaction was to just shit on them. Right? The tracking's bad, this is bad, that's bad, this inside-out tracking's bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And to be fair, when they first released, they were a little rough, right? It took a few patches and some firmware updates to get them where they needed to be. So if you were reviewing them in the first month, you probably didn't have a perfect experience. But if you ever came back to it, the experience was incredible. And you could still use it on Steam. You could download Revive and use it on Oculus. Plus, you could use all of the features that it comes with in syncs with Windows. So it was literally as plug and play as it gets when it comes to VR, which was a very big selling point for me. Unfortunately, nobody ever went back to cover it. So now, fast forward to today. Oculus is now coming out with essentially a Samsung Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
HP is coming out with essentially a Samsung Odyssey. Vive has everyone super excited for the next Vive because it has OLEDs, which were essentially the same resolution as the Samsung Odyssey from 20 months ago. And now all of a sudden everybody's excited about all of this tech. And the same people that were saying, I don't like inside-out tracking, it's not good enough, and all this other bullshit, are now saying, I'm not going to buy another headset if there's not a worthwhile upgrade like inside-out tracking. And I'm losing my shit, Mitch. I'm sitting here going like, listening to people that talk VR all the time, and they seem to have no idea that the Samsung Odyssey even exists. And I've went back and forth with people on it. It's an incredible headset. So anyway, if you haven't checked out VR and the cameras or the this or the that always got in your way, I'm telling you right now, the Samsung Odyssey can play Oculus games, it can play Steam games, it can play games on the Windows Store. It's OLEDs, it's one cable, and you can get it for $299. If you're looking at jumping in VR, that's probably where you can start for $299. So I just wanted to get that off my chest because like no one else talks about it. And I've just wanted to be like, there's a solution out there that already does all of these things that Oculus is talking about. So anyway, and I don't know what the price on the Oculus is going to be. I mean, if it's $399 or $499 and you can actually get the Oculus, I mean, it's maybe probably better to go that route. But anyway.
Well, not to mention when the 20 months ago, when it was $499, that was a steal compared to everything else at that point.
It was.
Everything else was so much more expensive, and the technology was so inferior.
In my opinion, I mean, unless you were really,
arguably, I guess.
Yeah, it depends what you were doing, right? I mean, if you had, hey, I'm going to mount these cameras and it's all going to be set up. I mean, yeah, the Vive or the Oculus was probably better. But those pain points were also a hindrance why it didn't catch on, right? Not everybody has a room where they want to hang these fucking trackers on the wall and calibrate it. Like, I sure as hell didn't. I had one and it bothered me. I just want to plug the fucking thing in and open Steam and start playing games. So, keep your eye on that because especially the new HP unit. So HP is coming out with one that I assume is going to be a mixed reality headset. And it sounds like it's going to be off the charts good. So keep an eye out there. But anyway, VR games. So a lot of these games are a little older, and I'm sure a lot of people have played them. But since you haven't, I'm going to run down the list of VR games that I have picked up and played.
Okay.
So there was a game called Arizona Sunshine that came out. Have you seen this? This is
I don't know.
Probably a year and a half old.
Okay.
But anyway, it's like one of the first like full single player experiences that was in VR as far as shooters go. And it's basically a zombie apocalypse, but you're in Arizona, and I haven't fully got through it yet. I think it's only like 3 hours, and I'm about an hour and a half in. But man, it's super cool and super rewarding, and like there's just enough jump scares where it's not a horror game. I wouldn't call it that, but there's enough jump scares where like you'll walk through a door and all of a sudden a breath will be behind you, and it just gives you that goosebumps because you'll just hear like. And you're like, oh, fuck, right? And you turn around and just start trying to pump bullets into these zombies. And it's just that for like 3 hours. But, man, it's a good time. And, like, it looks great. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. And then I think we did at one point talk about Batman VR. Played through that. Batman VR was really cool. You get to be Batman. Like, they could have done more with it. You don't get to drive the Batmobile or do any of that. But, like, the minute you land in, like, the Batcave or whatever, and you look in the mirror and you're like, fuck, I'm Batman. Like, you feel badass playing the whole thing. Because you're like,
I don't think we ever talked about that.
Yeah, Batman's really cool. So, I mean, here's the thing. You kind of, no spoiler. I mean, this isn't a spoiler, but you start out at the scene where you see Bruce Wayne's parents get shot in the alley, right? Like, that's the whole thing about, him inheriting all his parents' money and yada, yada, yada. And then you kind of just work through little scenes here and there, and it's all tied together with cutscenes. And so, but you get to use all of the cool Batsuit tools and shit. It's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. Then I picked up Beat Saber. And Beat Saber is a rhythm game where did you see anything about Beat Saber yet?
No.
Oh, God, you got to go check that out too. So basically, it's a rhythm game where you're just standing. Imagine a Guitar Hero, the Guitar Hero like note lane, whatever the hell you'd call it. But instead,
what?
Like the the note thing. I don't know what the note alley. I don't know what you'd call it. But essentially, you're standing in that, but it's 3D. So you have essentially what you have is boxes just flying at you, and with any drum beat, it's like so. If it's on PSVR, it's like house music. But on PC, you can import custom tracks. And so, Motley Crue is in there, Prince, Michael, like anything you want to play. And essentially, you have boxes coming at you, but they're pointing in one direction. There's like an arrow on them. So if it's pointing right, you have to slash the box right. If it's pointing left, you have to slash the box left. But then they have boxes on each side, so you're using both arms. And so, like, with, like Kickstart My Heart, like, you're doing like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And you're just in this crazy you're like in this crazy fucking world. Just, I can't even get past like the intro, but oh my God, it's so fun. Dude, you got to check out.
I would love to see just to have a camera in the room when you're playing.
Here's the deal. I will have
oh my God, do it.
I'll have Carrie record me playing Beat Saber tonight with Kickstart My Heart so you can see it. It's fucking incredible, dude. I think it honestly, it might be one of my favorite VR games.
Yeah, I looked at some pictures while you were talking about it. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. So anyway, then another one, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice VR edition. So this was a game that was a third-person kind of hack and slash that came out on PS4, and then I think it came to Xbox One. But they used the thing is, you play it with headphones, and they actually recorded. You essentially have a I don't know if it's like an anxiety or depression type game or like a schizophrenic type game, but you always got somebody in your ear just like, don't do that, or fucking whispering to you. But they recorded it using binaural audio. Have you?
Oh yeah.
So it's like it sounds super. Like you don't need crazy headphones.
3-dimensional audio.
Yeah, and it works on normal headphones. So anyway, they have that in VR, and
cool.
I'm talking real fast because I'm super excited about all this VR shit. But yeah, it's really good. I haven't played a lot of it in VR, but I did fire it up just to see what it was about.
Yeah.
So anyway, got that. I've got like, I'll make it quick. So anyway, Moss. Have you seen Moss?
No, I haven't seen any of these.
Okay, Moss is, dude, this game, this is also one of like the best VR things I've ever played. So essentially, you start the game and you're kind of in this church, and it starts it with narration, and you open this book, you're kind of flipping the pages in the book, and then essentially you're brought into the book. And when you get into the book, there's a little mouse. And there's some narration going on that starts to reference you as like God, basically. And you're viewing this mouse. And then next thing you know, you control the mouse. And all you're doing is trying to control this mouse through environments and solve environment puzzles as the story continues to unfold. And then with each chapter, there's a new cutscene, and then it brings you to a new environment, and you play through, and you're just essentially viewing this mouse that you're controlling and solving puzzles. But as you go through the game, it starts to put more narration around who you are as the player and explain the game more. So definitely check out Moss as well. It's so good.
Cool.
Project Cars VR, self-explanatory. Then I picked up another game which I just bought today called the Solus Project. I don't even know, like it just looked incredible. I haven't played it yet though. I haven't had a chance, but it's like I don't know, it looks insane. And then the other one that I picked up today that I did get to play, which looked awesome, was called Space Junkies. And it's an online multiplayer game where essentially you're like Jetpack Man. And like you have basically a jetpack, and you're flying around these environments, and there's guns. You don't start out with a gun. So you get into the arena, but you're flying around this arena. So there's just like floating shit all over in your way, and you just start flying. You're like, oh shit, there's a gun. So you're flying past the gun and putting your arm up and grabbing it. And like, that would be super cool, but it's like it's 3 people arenas. So it's, a free for all, but only 3 people in each arena.
Yeah.
And it sounded like so much fun, but it's just hard to control. Like when you get into a gunfight where like it's like, if you get into a good gunfight where you're like, oh fuck, I got this gun, and you see a guy and you're going at him and you start firing at him, and then all of a sudden he finds a quick gun and comes back at you, and you play like this game of cat and mouse. It can be a ton of fun. The problem is it's so hard to control that sometimes you just end up running into like a wall, like a floating wall, and then you just die because the guy's behind you just pegging you, or you're chasing a guy and then he fucks up, and like then you just get an easy kill on him. So it's like the game could be incredible, but I just think that, the 3-person arenas just aren't enough players and it's just not big enough. So
yeah. It sounds like fun though. I don't know.
But it's worth a try. Here's the thing. It's $39 regular price. It was on sale today for $15.
Oh, no brainer.
Yeah. If I paid $40, I would probably be pissed, but at $15,
right.
It's totally worth it for $15. I played 3-4 matches today and I had some fun with it. And it's funny because like a lot of the headsets have chat built in, and I got matched with like, I don't know, it must have been people across the pond, but man, I got a hold of 2 automatic weapons and just started fucking murdering these 2 guys over and over. And then I finally ran out of ammo, but I could hear both of them going, holy fuck, what has this guy got? How did he get this shit? And then they both thought I was cheating. And I wasn't. I just happened to like luck out and find both automatics in the map. And I was just murdering these fools.
That's hilarious.
But they thought I was cheating. And then I got into another match where the guy was just killing me. And then he admitted he used Cheat Engine. And I don't know how Cheat Engine would have Space Junkies in it yet, unless it's like not specific to the game. But he was like, I got fucking aimbot. And aimbot's like a Cheat Engine thing where you just like shoot and the bullets just hit you. And that wasn't fun. That sucked. But but anyway, just a ton of awesome VR stuff coming out right now. And then I did buy one other game called All Alone VR. It was on sale for 57 cents.
What?
And I haven't played it yet. It's regularly $2.99. Essentially, it sends you into some like empty city, like some empty metro area. And the description was there's going to be voices talking to you, and listening to the clues and the voices, you need to find your way out of the empty city. And I was like,
that sounds kind of cool.
And I was like, I'll give it a shot for 57 cents.
I give it a shot for $2.99.
Well, I probably, the fucked up part is I probably wouldn't have, but oops.
Did you just like fall out of your chair?
No, I accidentally, sorry about that. No, I accidentally, hit my mixed reality button on my computer and then it opened it and then your audio switched to that for a half a second.
Dope.
But anyway, that's my VR stuff, man. I've just had a ton of fun with it, and like, there's just always something out there to do. And so
it sounds like something I should have to have, Yeah.
Here's the thing. So I still get sick on. Oh, we got to talk about the Switch VR too. But I still get sick on some things. But then I just don't play those games. Then you just go, that didn't work for me. But I haven't gotten sick on anything that is, like well known. Like I had anything that I've went to the store and bought and it's reviewed well, I haven't gotten sick on. So Moss has been perfect. I hadn't had a problem with Moss. Arizona Sunshine, no problem. Batman, no problem. Beat Saber, no problem. Hellblade, a little bit because it's third person and there's some weird tracking there. So didn't get sick. Space Junkies, a little bit, just because when I was learning the controls, but then I was fine. Then I do have Super Hot VR, and I didn't get sick in that. And then there's a puzzle game called the Talos Principle VR. It's like a environmental puzzle game. I didn't get sick in that. So of all the VR games I have on Steam right now, it's All Alone, Arizona Sunshine, Batman, Beat Saber, Hellblade, Moss, Project Cars, the Solus Project, Space Junkie, Super Hot VR, the Talos Principle VR, and Thumper. I haven't gotten sick really on any of those. So it might be worth picking one up, man.
Yeah, I gotta stop spending $5,000 on pinball machines and shit.
It might be worth picking one up.
Yeah, I know. On a side note too, I don't even know if I ever sent you anything like this, but just crap keeps coming up for me too, just sucking up all my money. Like I actually got a Hyperball, a Williams Hyperball for $150 from a friend like last month. That was my April thing that I got. That it's essentially like kind of a pinball, but not a pinball. It's got like continuous shooting on it. It's got like I don't know, 30 balls or some shit like that. It's crazy. It's cool. I got it for $150. So anyway, but yeah, that's where my money's going right now. Once shit, I also got a Robotron project, which I don't know if I ever mentioned, but yeah. So anyway, once my money stops getting like eaten up by all this shit, I'm totally gonna buy that. That sounds awesome. That sounds like a blast. That sounds like something I need to have.
Yeah, you do.
I totally want to put that on my son's face too, and be like, "Hey, check this out." Just see what his reaction is.
So here's the thing. It is still $2.99 on Slick Deals at both the Microsoft Store, Samsung.com, and BH Photo. So $2.99, dude.
That's not even expensive. I just need to. I don't know. I need to commit.
Yeah, you have to. It's so good. So anyway, Switch VR. I went and bought that fucking Labo. I forgot about this in your VR in your Switch segment.
We laughed about this when we saw the advertisements for it for how long now, and you went out and bought it.
Yeah, so you had made a picture a while back of Google Cardboard with an N64 controller and then your Sega Master System 3D glasses. And
yeah, it was the Sega 3D glasses and the Google Cardboard, and yeah, you're right.
And it essentially looked just like what Nintendo ended up selling here, but
that was a joke.
Yeah, that was why it was so funny. I couldn't find that picture. I was going to try to retweet it out, and I couldn't find it in my pictures library. But so anyway, I decided I've got to give it a try. So I picked it up and I put it together, and I started fucking with the like built-in Labo games, and I was like, okay, this is cute. Like if I'm not going to play it after this, but if I had a kid or something, wanted to try it out, it's kind of neat. Mm-hmm. But I was like, the real reason that I wanted it was because I knew they were going to be patching a VR mode into Zelda and the VR mode into Mario. Mm-hmm. Now, Zelda isn't really VR. Zelda is Zelda. And it just happens to be like stereoscopic 3D. Like, imagine taking 3DS with Zelda Breath of the Wild and just holding it up to your face.
Oh, well, so it's like the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, it's exactly like, well, here's the fucked up part. It made me as sick as the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, I was going to say the Virtual Boy was notorious for making people sick.
So,
seriously, after like a half an hour of playing that, my stomach would just be like...
Well, I mean, it's also like the Virtual Boy in the fact that you just hold it to your face. I mean, the Virtual Boy was on a table.
I felt like that was a pretty good comparison.
Yeah, I mean, other than the Virtual Boy's on a table, but so yeah, you hold this thing to your face and you're trying to play Zelda, and the just because when you move your head, the screen moves with you, it's instant nauseous. I
can't handle even thinking about it.
I think I got like 2 minutes in. And so I'm playing it. Well, I think you can feel it right away. Like with VR, you know when you're getting sick, right? And like the minute I put it on, I'm like, this is not going to work out. But I'm looking and I'm going like, I want to climb to the top of that mountain and I want to do the hang glider off of it.
Right.
And so I'm climbing up the mountain and I'm slowly feeling myself getting more sick. And then I go to jump off the mountain and do the paraglide thing. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to throw up. I'm done with this. So
I just about threw up when you described that.
It was so nauseating. So then I was like, okay, let me try Mario. So Mario actually patched in some mini games or mini areas. And I thought, okay, well, that's intriguing. Maybe it's something better than Zelda. And so I open up the VR area and there's like 3 options. And I'm going to be honest, I only played one of the options for like 2 minutes. It throws you into an area of one of the levels. And so with the level I picked, it was like, I don't know, one of the ghosty levels from Mario Odyssey.
Okay.
Unless I couldn't figure this out.
With the hats and shit?
Yeah. The camera's fixed in the middle of the arena. Because it's essentially an arena. And they want you to go find like... instruments that you go give to the musicians. So there's like a musician in the level, and then like you have to go find a microphone or something. Or I didn't completely.
Well,
get
there was something like that essentially in the actual game.
Yeah, but this
in New Donk City or whatever.
So now take the game, put yourself in the middle of the room or the middle of the arena. You can't move forward, backwards, left, or right. The camera can't, but Mario can move. So you're controlling Mario, and he can run all over the place, but you as the camera is just stuck. So you're basically like on a swivel chair in the middle of this world playing Mario, but you can't really go anywhere. So you're just hitting blocks and then trying to find this fucking microphone and then give it to this person, and that's the end of the world, I think. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's just like they just drop you in and you're like, here's Mario, and you're not following him around. You're just moving him around, and you can kind of look around in the world. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Go look at the video. It's terrible. This is the dumbest thing I've ever played. And I don't know what I expected. I didn't have a lot of... Actually, I'll tell you what I expected. I didn't have high expectations, but I expected it to be cute, like where I would play it and go, oh, that was fun. That was Nintendo. That was fun. I had a good time with it, and it wasn't that.
Right.
I turned it on and went, this is shit, and turned it off.
Right.
But let's, again, in fairness, I'm 36 years old, and it's probably not made for me, right? So I could totally see a kid being like, this is fucking incredible. I'm in the Mario world, right? So, like, if I was 6, it would probably be awesome. But if I was 6, I'd probably rather use a Samsung Odyssey. So...
Right.
But anyway.
This portion of RetroGameFix.com Retro Jones podcast is brought to you by the Samsung Odyssey.
Yeah. Modern day VR 20 months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Now available for $299 at Microsoft.com, Samsung.com, and BHPhoto.com.
Yeah. Samsung Odyssey. Fuck yeah. I couldn't think of a tagline.
So anyway, video games, man, video games.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've discussed video games in any form, so it's kind of good to shake off some of the rust and catch up on some of what we've been doing, man. I've got so much shit that's always happening, so
yeah. We
got to get back to it because I always have something to talk about that people are like, fuck you. How did you find this? I'm working on another thing right now that might just blow the socks off my frenemy, Steven, and because it's his number 2 most wanted pinball of all time. And I might end up with that too.
What is that? Or do you not want to? Oh, Adam Sandler. Yeah, that's a good pin.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't even like the game, to be honest. I'm one of the few people that just doesn't get Adam's Family.
Doesn't like him?
But I'm going to get it just to troll my friend.
Fuck yeah.
So anyway, you can understand that.
I get it. Hey, I get it. I've been a troll professional my whole life.
You have. I can vouch for that. So anyway, I don't know, man. That's what we got, right?
That's
you got anything else to add?
Nah, that's all I got, man.
All right. Well, for RetroGameFix.com, the Retro Jones podcast, this is your host, Mitch.
And this is Mike.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Maybe.